UFC fans have witnessed many dominant fighters, but few compare to the rise of Islam Makhachev. From his early days in the UFC, Makhachev was viewed as a promising fighter, but some doubted whether he could ever escape the shadow of his mentor, Khabib Nurmagomedov. A prodigy of Sambo, Makhachev had the skills, yet many believed he was simply riding on Khabib's legacy. Early in his career, despite showing flashes of brilliance, Makhachev struggled to shake off the comparisons to his mentor. Fans and critics alike saw him as a skilled grappler, but questioned if he had the full package to dominate at the highest level. His victories were impressive, but the narrative was always the same. Islam was the student, Khabib the master. However, Makhachev's persistence and evolution as a fighter started turning heads. He began dismantling opponents with a style reminiscent of Khabib, but with his own striking precision and game sense. Each fight became a statement, showing that Makhachev wasn't just another name in the UFC's deep lightweight division. He was building his own legacy, one fight at a time. And as his dominance grew, so did the recognition that Islam Makhachev was carving out his path to greatness. 2. Makhachev's path to title shot. First major breakthrough. Much like Sean O'Malley, Islam Makhachev had his fair share of doubters who considered him overhyped, merely a product of Khabib's fame. Despite his impressive skill set, fans were hesitant to acknowledge Makhachev as a future champion. But that narrative began to shift when he faced and dismantled top contenders like Dan Hooker and Thiago Moises. Hooker, known for his striking prowess, was expected to give Makhachev a tough challenge, but Islam's wrestling and control left no room for doubt. Against Moises, Makhachev showcased his evolution as a fighter, not just dominating on the ground, but also outclassing him in striking exchanges. Title opportunity. With each victory, Makhachev silenced more critics and established himself as a force in the lightweight division. His string of decisive wins earned him a shot at UFC Gold, and his opponent was none other than Charles Oliveira, a seasoned champion with the most submission wins in UFC history. Oliveira had proven himself as a formidable opponent, but many wondered how he would handle Makhachev's relentless grappling and evolving striking game. This was Makhachev's moment to finally step out of Khabib's shadow and prove that his own dominance was no fluke. 3. Makhachev vs. Oliveira UFC 280. Heading into UFC 280, the anticipation surrounding Islam. Makhachev's title fight against Charles Oliveira was immense. Oliveira was coming off a string of impressive wins, having submitted or knocked out some of the division's toughest names. Many experts believed that Oliveira's dangerous jiu-jitsu and striking combinations would be too much for Makhachev. Critics still doubted whether Makhachev could handle the pressure of a title fight against such a well-rounded and experienced champion. Some believed that Makhachev's striking wasn't refined enough to compete with Oliveira's versatile offense. Once the fight began, Makhachev wasted no time proving that he belonged at the top. In a shocking turn of events, he not only neutralized Oliveira's dangerous submission game, but also demonstrated his ability to outstrike the Brazilian. Makhachev's precision and control were on full display as he landed powerful shots and masterfully avoided dangerous grappling situations. In round 2, Makhachev rocked Oliveira with a right hand, leading to a ground exchange that ended with a perfectly timed submission, shocking the MMA world. 4. Makhachev vs. Alexander Volkanovski UFC 284 fresh. Off his title win, Islam Makhachev's first defense came against none other than UFC featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski. This was no ordinary title defense, it was a champion versus champion showdown. Despite Makhachev's dominance, Volkanovski was widely regarded as one of the pound-for-pound best fighters in the world. Many believed that Volkanovski's speed, high fight IQ, and unbreakable spirit could give Makhachev serious problems. Volkanovski had proven his ability to adapt and thrive in high-pressure situations, and fans were split on whether Makhachev could handle the featherweight king's relentless pace and striking accuracy. The fight lived up to the hype. Makhachev and Volkanovski went to war over 5 rounds, with each fighter having moments of success. Makhachev's grappling was as dominant as ever, securing key takedowns and controlling Volkanovski on the ground. After a hard-fought 5-round battle, Makhachev won by unanimous decision, defending his lightweight title for the first time. 5. Critics and praise the community's response. After his impressive performance against Volkanovski, Islam Makhachev's stock skyrocketed in the MMA world. Just like Sean O'Malley had to silence his critics, Makhachev's win over 2 champions in a row, Charles Oliveira and Alexander Volkanovski, began to shift the narrative. Fighters and analysts who had previously doubted him now began to recognize his skill set. Daniel Cormier, a close ally of Khabib Nurmagomedov, praised Makhachev's ability to control a fighter as dangerous as Volkanovski, while Khabib himself stated that Makhachev was carving out his own legacy. However, not everyone was convinced. Much like Sean O'Malley's journey, Makhachev still had his doubters. Some critics argued that Volkanovski exposed potential holes in Makhachev's striking defense, suggesting that a more aggressive, taller fighter could capitalize on those vulnerabilities. Others pointed to how closely contested the fight was, believing that Makhachev would struggle against future opponents who were better prepared for his grappling-heavy style. On the other hand, many were quick to acknowledge Makhachev's versatility. His ability to seamlessly switch between grappling and striking impressed veterans like Daniel Cormier and Michael Bisping, who saw him as a complete fighter capable of adapting to any situation inside the octagon. 6. Makhachev vs. Beneil Dariush, UFC 294 speculative. Following his successful defense against Alexander Volkanovski, the MMA community began speculating about Islam Makhachev's next challenge. The name on everyone's lips was Beneil Dariush, a rising star known for his elite grappling and knockout power. Dariush had been on an impressive win streak, defeating top contenders with a mix of striking and grappling that made him a dangerous opponent for anyone in the division. Fans and analysts believe that Dariush's wrestling and jiu-jitsu could pose a significant threat to Makhachev's dominant grappling game. The potential matchup between Makhachev and Dariush at UFC 294 would be a grappling masterclass, with both fighters possessing elite ground skills. While Makhachev has relied heavily on his sambo background, Dariush's jiu-jitsu could create challenges Makhachev hasn't faced before. However, Makhachev's superior cage control and wrestling may give him the edge in neutralizing Dariush's submission attempts. 7. Future challenges. The UFC lightweight division is known for its deep talent pool, and even though Islam Makhachev has proven himself as a dominant champion, new contenders are always emerging. Fighters like Rafael Fiziev, Mateusz Gamrot, and Arman Tsarukyan have been climbing the ranks and are eager to test their skills against the champion. Each of these fighters brings a unique challenge, whether it's Fiziev's explosive striking, Gamrot's relentless pace, or Tsarukyan's well-rounded skill set. These fighters are hungry for a shot at Makhachev, and each presents a potential threat to his reign. Perhaps the most intriguing future challenge for Makhachev is Umar Nurmagomedov, Khabib's cousin, and a rising star in his own right. While Umar has expressed respect for Makhachev, he's made it clear that he doesn't appreciate Makhachev's flashy style. Umar's grappling and striking prowess make him a dangerous contender, and many believe that a fight between the two would be an epic clash of Dagestani warriors. With such a deep roster of talent waiting for their shot, the question remains elite grappling, striking, and fight IQ. His victories over champions like Charles Oliveira and Alexander Volkanovski have solidified his place among the sport's greats. However, with a new wave of contenders like Beneil Dariush, Rafael Fiziev, and Umar Nurmagomedov on the horizon, Makhachev's reign will be continuously tested. As he faces tougher challenges, the question remains: can he maintain his dominance and carve out his legacy as one of the greatest UFC champions of all time?